Man, I had a buddy of mine who was quarterback that ended up coming to Notre Dame with us. Stanford wanted him to retake his SATs. Like, they nerd on an even different level from us. It's remarkable.
Yeah. Welcome to Highly Questionable. I'm Pablo Torre. That's Mike Golic Jr. That's Domonique Foxworth. For the record, I'm not the guy somehow who started a conversation about the SAT on today's show.
You somehow managed to work it into the intro, though.
Yeah, the brand. Strong.
Nice job.
What's your reaction to J.J. Watt signing with the Cardinals?
So I could tell you what our reaction is, or I can just show you because we just learned about this like 4 seconds ago, and here's how that went.
Guys, we're going to have to redo the top of the show. J.J. Watt just signed with the Cardinals.
Oh, my God. What? The Cardinals?
This feels like the most J.J. Watt thing to do, which is to say specifically throw up a photo of yourself that is clearly like It's shocking to me simply because we spent a lot of time making theories about where he would go. This was not one of them. And so I'm still kind of processing the fact that, yeah, a bunch of red herrings led to him signing with a bird that is red. Is that the thing that I just did?
What a reach. Well, I mean, I'm surprised by it to go into that very difficult division on a team that does not feel like they are in championship contention, because we all thought towards the end of his career, he's going to want to leave Houston and go somewhere and win a title. So I'd be interested to find out how much money he's getting in this situation, to find out what the true motivation or how much interest he was getting from other teams, because this doesn't seem like a place where you go if you're trying to capstone your career with the championship. This is not the decision you make, but J.J. Watt certainly announced it in the most J.J. Watt way possible. Can we see that picture? Is that something we can share? Because I was embarrassed for him.
He's so serious. He's so serious. His eyes looking off camera, definitely not staring right in and aware of what he is doing and being photographed for doing.
Source. It's me.
Period.
The only way he knows how to break news in that spot. I'm with Domonique. My initial reaction was confusion in this spot, unless you want to take into account that we joked with Tom Brady that when old people go to retire, they move to Florida or Arizona. And so heading out to the Valley of the Sun is a great place if you want to kind of gently work your way into that next chapter. But yeah, I'm with Domonique. From a football perspective, this doesn't seem to make an overwhelming amount of sense, just because the Cardinals were a dark horse team going into last season that we thought might take that step. We remember Kyler Murray was everyone's sexy MVP, unlikely pick going into the season. And about halfway through, things stalled out there, and this started to look like some of the remnants of spots Cliff Kingsbury had been in the past. And so we have more questions we're going to ask about them going into this year, and I'm not sure J.J. Watt answers any of them adequately.
I'm just disappointed we didn't get like J.J. Watt announcing this via like a gender reveal conceit, like him taking a bat to like a piñata full of like red powder. I would have liked that.
Does this video of Drew Brees pushing a sled make you think he may be coming back?
So Drew Brees is 42 years old. When we last saw him, it was that last scene in a movie when everyone is crying and he's hugging his kids, and his opponent somehow comes over to doff his cap and then throws passes to his own kids. But now there's like this post-credit scene, and it looks like this.
Let's go. Time is on. Go. Where are we going, Maui? Come on, Tim. To the black and bat, Drew. To the black. The black, Drew. Drew to the black. Drew.
Referring to, I believe, asphalt for the record.
Oh, okay. So it's
yeah,
like a receiver or something.
It's an important clarification.
What are you doing? Okay. He's never done that.
But I have other questions.
Hurry up!
As to
Can you answer the first question first?
TV, come on.
Not sure why he's so cray-cray today, but something must be brewing. ... Shrug emoji, shrug emoji. Flex emoji, flex emoji at Drew Brees.
I appreciate the closed captioning, but who spells cray without a Y?
That's a very good point.
Cry.
So I'm inclined to think that Drew Brees, in fact, is still going to retire, because I believe the Saints, as constituted, are like $69 million over the salary cap. However, Never underestimate the delusion of a guy who is surrounded by friends who I think are paid explicitly to just hype him up on Instagram. So maybe I'm wrong.
So, I mean, first of all, the salary cap is just a suggestion for the Saints. If you followed the Saints salary cap minutia over the past couple seasons, they find a way to get under it somehow. So I'm not concerned about that nearly as much as I'm concerned about what is actually the reaction of his coaches and teammates if he comes back. Because right now you all think, oh, we get a future Hall of Famer back, everyone's going to celebrate. I'm not so sure that's the case. I really feel like Sean Payton would like to blow the dust off of the whole part of his playbook that throws the ball 20 yards downfield, because that part of the playbook has been collecting dust for a couple seasons now, and it may also be holding this team back.
I mean, we're not that far removed from their best player currently, and Michael Thomas openly subtweeting their offense during the NFL playoffs after they got knocked out. The same Michael Thomas who had a lot of interpersonal issues, it would appear, behind closed doors in that locker room early on in last season. So if this is supposed to be something in the vein of good news, clearly I don't know if it's going to be received that way, because we already saw in real time it not working that way. The thing I am most proud of about this video, though, is that Chase Daniel, ever the backup quarterback veteran, is still there, not having to do any of the work right there, cheering on, and somehow, I'm sure in that video, still being paid handsomely in that process. He is a hero. He deserves every ounce of what he gets, and I'm just happy to see that that role translates to the parking lot, to the field, wherever he has to go.
My other favorite thing about that video, though, was that if you see this merely as an attempt by Drew Brees to brag about all the hair that he suddenly has regrown mysteriously, it does kind of make sense just on that level. Like, yeah, this is about pushing a sled. Sure it is. You thought I was maybe, like, being facetious about my very snide comment about the hair, but no, I wasn't. I mean... What kind of lace work, biochemical, physical experiment has been conducted in the last month and a half?
Good Lord. I really missed the boat on this whole being rich thing. Could have really changed a lot for me on this show.
Up next on HQ.
Right now, the Knicks are still not that good, but they're better than we expected, and the NBA is no more fun because of it.
Highly Questionable is brought to you by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits.
How to box. They at least have a chance to fight.
Are you starting to believe in the Knicks?
Man, the New York Knicks, like for those who are not initiated into my life, they're my strangest ex-girlfriend. And I say that knowing I've had, honestly, quite a few of those. But the New York Knicks in particular, when they are good, guys, the city that I live in is great. The league is better. Everything about sports is more fun when the Knicks are good. The big asterisk, though, on this entire question is whether they're actually good, because I know they're fourth in the East right now. Fourth place in the East is nothing to sneeze at, except you go like one column to the right on the standings page, and you see that they're 18 and 17. And the reasons why I'm no longer a Knicks fan, I'm no longer in a relationship with this team, are kind of the reasons why so many people in this city are excited. It's because in the last 20 years, this is the third time the Knicks have been above 500 through 35 games. So I'm going to say, as I often do now, I do not believe in the Knicks. But hey, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickley, a really good defense, Tom Thibodeau, and all his unhappiness. I like what you got going on. I just don't think it's actually that good.
The thing about the Knicks being good makes the NBA be better and makes everything so much better is one of those truisms that we all accept as true, but we've never actually known whether it's true or not, because in none of our lifetime have they actually been all that good. Like Patrick Ewing, I remember him. He was good. They never won a championship. I guess the Carmelo run, and of course, we can't talk about the Knicks without talking about their highest achieving shining moment in the last decade plus. Jeremy Lin.
Yes.
Linsanity.
Yes.
None of that made the
True
NBA
love.
feel any better to me. And right now, the Knicks are still not that good, but they're better than we expected. And the NBA is no more fun because of it. So no, I don't believe in the Knicks. Like, they're a little bit over 500, but this team is not going anywhere because they are built on an offensive weapon in Julius Randle, who plays basketball in a way that not too many people play. Like, he's a mid-range kind of undersized post wing-ish person, and it's not something that I can see them building something exceptional around. They play good defense because Thibodeau does that, but they're not going to like be competitors, but they are positioning themselves to get somebody to come there.
Yeah, Domonique, you hit on it there. What they're built on is, to me, a foundation that in two spots is not sturdy enough to sustain any sort of real success. One of them is Tom Thibodeau, and something that works with a young roster. They're the third youngest roster in the NBA, and so his jackhammer style of coaching, and even what we hear after their win the other night, that he's going to go back and watch tape and he's never satisfied, and all of these cliche football guy sounding things from a basketball coach, they work when you've got a young team who's trying to grow. But we've seen, kind of like Jim Harbaugh in the NFL, these things have a bit of a shelf life after a while when you've got that sort of jackhammer style. And so you've got that on one side, and then you've got the ever-present specter of James Dolan. And once knowing that that's always there, it reminds you that true happiness is never going to be. And so instead, we're going to have to settle for fleeting happiness, which I'm fine endorsing. Like, I was on a Notre Dame team that beat Utah at home, who was ranked in like the teens, and our fans rushed the field. And I thought, you know what? Good for them. We kind of needed this because we had gone like 6-5 the last 2 years in that. And so if Knicks fans want to celebrate outside of the Garden like they just handed the golden ticket to Wonka's Chocolate Factory, good for them. Let them have this joy for right now because it's probably not going to last.
Can we see what Knicks fans in New York City looked like yesterday as they were celebrating being the first topic on Highly Questionable? Can you play that video, please? Oh, yeah. Rat tail spinning.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Put on your mask, though.
There we go.
Come on, guys. It's New York City. That said, genuine, drunken, figurative, or literal happiness.
Is it a big deal that Giannis didn't choke in the fourth quarter against the Clippers last night?
So to translate sports talk gasbaggery to actual human observation, Giannis beat the Clippers last night. He was really good in the fourth quarter. He was 6 of 6 from the floor, and one of his most notable moments was this. They're going to move the ball around here, and then Giannis, standing outside the three-point line, will not dribble and just do that. And when you don't have to dribble to dunk from outside the three-point line and nobody on the other team is calling for a travel, it's a pretty good sign that you are, in fact, the two-time defending MVP. So is it a big deal that he did this? Well, the critics would say do it in the playoffs, but for the time being, he did it against the Clippers. The Clippers are, in fact, a good team. Giannis did all of that. He had major defensive moments in the fourth quarter. I think it is a notable performance by, again, the two-time reigning MVP that we can't stop crapping on.
I think it matters to an extent as much as these regular season matchups can, and we always kind of try and build momentum off the key matchups, the ones that we know are going to involve teams that are primed for deep postseason runs. The thing that concerns me more is this isn't out of Giannis's skill set from what we've seen in the past couple of seasons. That tends to work really well. Giannis being a force of nature, a guy who can put it on the mat despite being a 7-footer and wow us with physical prowess like that. That's always been there. The question with the Bucks remains, do they have an off-speed pitch when it comes to the postseason when these premier defensive teams start building a wall at the free throw line that's really kept Giannis and the squad from accomplishing in that portion? So it's less do it in the postseason and more for me right now. Are you working towards the things that are going to help you be effective when you get to that changeup in the postseason?
All good analysis, but I just want to use this as an opportunity to point out that that dunk was wonderful. It was great, but it's only worth 2 points. Doesn't matter. It's only worth 2 points. It doesn't matter whether it's a dunk, a three. It doesn't matter how much time is left in the game. Just like the block that he had later in the game is only worth -2 points if you stop a dunk. So I'm not that excited about that because it's only worth 2 points or 0 points or -2 points, depending on how you do the math.
I feel like that was an extended subtweet at me just because I am the guy who did not play football on this show today and therefore am supposed to be stuffed into some sort of locker. But can we play the block that was worth apparently -2 points? Because that is actually worth celebrating. So that is Ivica Zubac coming in with 2 hands, and that is Giannis with 1 hand saying, my 1 hand is, in fact, this is the new math, my 1 is better than your 2.
Hell of a block. I mean, the confidence, first of all, just to step in there, assuming that you're going to block it and not get banged on is like cornerback level confidence, and I always respect that.
Sure.
That's Manalytics. Manalytics with Domonique Foxworth.
Manalytics.
Let's go.
Hey, thanks, Martins.
You're welcome.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Domonique, are you a Peloton guy too?
Yep.
Oh my God.
I just don't talk about it. Man, just keep it low key. You want to see my abs though?
Kinda.
I mean, I don't think we have a
You gonna
choice.
do it?
Per usual.
Oh, I'll do it.
Oh, please
I'll do it.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. All right.
I got a couple of them. I got a couple left.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
Woo.
It's only like 2 left. They're leaving.
I mean, you guys want to see what I'm working with right here? It's pretty impressive.
man.
Yeah. Just don't worry about it. Just bam.
There it is.
Yeah.
That is great. That is nice.
If you look
at
real
that.
close, you can see the stretch marks.
Pablo.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Oh, so you get to see our belly buttons, but we don't get to see yours. All right. That's fine.
Do you question if we should give credit to this receiver or crush these DB?
Quarterback, like the field isn't that big. It should be easier to do your job. So yeah, I'm going to blame the DBs on that one.
Don't blame the DBs. Did they call that man Trap Daddy? What's going on here?
Yes. Yes.
Yesterday, I did not know this league exists. Today, I learned that they have a big white receiver whose name is Trap Daddy, and Johnny Manziel is in this league, but not in this league. Apparently, Quavo owns a team. What's going to be called Trap Daddy? It should be a guard, not a receiver. Who's running a trap? Like, what are you doing? Why do you have a receiver named Trap Daddy? That doesn't make any sense. It's a guard's move.
Guys, I've got some bad news for you. His name is Trav Daddy. Travis Toivonen from North Dakota.
What?
Oh, man.
Makes way more sense, but is wildly disappointing.
I just want to know if you guys are rethinking your lives as former football players watching the FCF. No part of you is like, wait a minute. I think I have some sled pushing left in me.
As someone who once played in the FXFL and played their home games where the Brooklyn Cyclones play in Coney Island, I can assure you I would have been in this league where I like 24 right now while this is going on.
Wait, what was the acronym of the league you played in?
The FXFL. The Fall Experimental Football League. And that's exactly what we were.
Don't ever put experimental in nothing if you want me to join it. Like that is immediately gonna suggest to me that I don't belong here.
Domonique, I lived in a Holiday Inn Express on Staten Island for 3 months in the fall of 2014.
I thought a Holiday Inn Express made you smart. Clearly, they are falsely advertising what those hotels do to people.
No, they make you get on a school bus and go to practice next to an amusement park.
Not a school bus. Not a bunch of adult men on a school bus to play football.
Tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, Pacers and Sixers.
Yeah. Very intrigued as per usual, but mostly here to celebrate what one Ben Simmons accomplished.
Should the Mavericks beat the Nets, the Sixers would keep.
Because you think, okay, yeah, man, this is a game that isn't that impressive. It's a loss, except,
Ben Simmons.
hey guys,
Wow.
how do you like them apple? You want threes? He's got threes. Any other questions? Domonique Foxworth, are you intrigued?
He's got threes, like plural, like multiple. I believe
He has made 2 threes this season.
That is a 3.
Get
you said,
yourself up to date.
How do you like them apple? You said them apple for a reason because it's
shiny.
only 1 3. It was in a garbage time situation. The Ben Simmons problem is a real problem for them finishing at the end of games. He's great on defense, great passer, great at everything. But if you can't shoot, you're going to be a liability as a primary ball handler in clutch situations. That's unfortunate, but true. Should have traded everybody for James Harden. Sorry.
Giannis has the same 3-point percentage as Ben Simmons, but who's counting? Mike Golic Jr., are you intrigued?
I am intrigued by the fact that I think at this point Ben Simmons has a number of career-made threes that I can still count on one hand, which is impressive at this point, his commitment to the bit. But I will say this, the only thing more unfortunate than all of that information is the fact that the line for this game, the point total, was set at 220, which means you lost your under bet on perhaps the most improbable three that the NBA could muster up in that spot. If there's a PSA for why not to gamble, it is hitting the over 220 on a Ben Simmons garbage three.
Also a PSA to, as always, trust the process.
Pablo.
That was highly questionable. These are my friends, Domonique Foxworth and Mike Golic Jr., who are definitely sincerely applauding my efforts, and not because it took me like 5 takes to get this right, and I might not even get it right this time. But Domonique, he is all over ESPN, very overqualified for his jobs. Mike Golic Jr., host of Chiney and Golic, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. Listen to him. He's very good at talking.
You did it! You did it!
Yeah! Yeah!
Meanwhile, I got a bleeping, where is it? I got a Bowflex bike. I have an off-brand Peloton that I've used 0 times. That's what I got going on underneath the hood.
He's got Peloton over there.